Hi there, I'm Michael Fazio, and I'm the author of Kotlin and Android Development featuring Jetpack. And I want to take a little time today to give you an overview of the book. Now, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you know what Kotlin and Android are. Just in case you don't, Android is the most popular mobile operating system in the world. And Kotlin is a, fairly new language that was created by JetBrains, a very developer-centric company, and is now officially recommended by Google as the primary language for native Android development. Jetpack, speaking of Google, is the set of libraries and frameworks and best practices and all these great tools and bits of advice and everything to make your Android application better. And so there's everything from database access to navigation around an app to layouts to lists to whatever you may need. And in particular, if you're using Kotlin, you can take advantage of even more pieces of Jetpack. So I went ahead and I wrote this book because I wanted to share with people Kotlin in particular, because I absolutely fell in love with it a few years back when I started with it. It's an amazing language. They've taken so many things that we've learned from development with Java and C# and all these other languages and put them into Kotlin. And it's a great developer experience. It's a very safe language from a null safety perspective. There's so many good parts to Kotlin. So I wanted to be able to share that with people. And being a mobile developer, the Android part really made sense. And then Google came out and said, hey, if you're going to build an Android app, use Kotlin. Perfect. So Kotlin and Android Development featuring Jetpack was born. So in this book, we've got two apps. And my intent with these apps is to have something just more fun, frankly, and something a little bit more real than your normal, here's a to-do list, here's this little like calendar type thing, here's a Twitter clone. We're building a game, and we're building the front end for a baseball league. So first one, game. This is a game called Penny Drop, and I've got an actual example right here. So it's a tabletop game. It looks similar to this. What you do is you roll a d6, so that's your normal standard die. You go ahead and you roll it. You can hear me, I actually rolled it, and it went on the ground, so it doesn't work as well. But I rolled a 2. I take a penny, go ahead, I put it in that slot. Then I roll again, and it gives me a 5. Oh, fantastic, I get to place another penny. And the intent of this is to get rid of all my pennies. If I roll a 6, I go in here. I roll another 2, I have to take the pennies, and now I have more that I have to try to get rid of. This continues on until somebody gets rid of all the pennies in their hand. Now, fairly simple game, but when you start developing this, it gets a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more pieces. And so we're going to go ahead in the book and dig into building a full penny drop app. And this is from starting with layouts to showing all the slots to the roll button to pass, because if you roll once and you succeed, you can then pass the next person, to a list of the scores, to a very rudimentary AI that you can bring into the game and include. So if you want to play on your own against AI players, you can do that. So we walk through all of this in part 1, which is Penny Drop. Then part 2, the Android Baseball League. And so this is my baseball fandom coming out. I actually created the entire ABL set of teams and players and a full season simulation that is stored out on a separate server. And then in the ABL app, we go ahead and we build out this app where it lists, here's everybody in the league, here are the current standings, here's each player, here's their stats, here are the league leaders, all these pieces that go into a real baseball app with data coming from an API. So we're seeing how to make asynchronous calls with coroutines. We're seeing how to go ahead and use something like paging, where we bring in a chunk of data, and then as the user scrolls, we bring in another chunk of data. This gives the user better experience, it uses less data. All these different things that go into a real app, we're doing in the ABL side. Now, I will say, this is the more advanced app. I would recommend either going through Penny Drop first or having some kind of Android experience, because we're going faster, there's a lot more to it, there's a lot more going on. But it's a really fun app to work on because again, you get to go a little bit deeper. I've written some code ahead of time so you can use that code and build onto it. You're not having to build every single piece of the app. You're integrating into existing parts. You're building a separate new page, all these different parts where you can really dig into what Jetpack offers. You really can look at the Kotlin language and see what's there and just build some cool Android apps. So if these sound good, go on to pragprog.com. You can grab an ebook or go to your local bookstore or, well, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, places like that, and you can grab a physical copy that'll be released at the end of May and take a look. All the source code is available on PragProg, so when you're going ahead and you're writing out these apps, I've sent out every bit of source code for every chapter, so you have references. You can go ahead and you can take some risks, do your own thing, and then go through each part, or skip over ones if you know what you're doing, or go through it even if you do know what you're doing, because you might surprise yourself and learn some cool things. But check out the book, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you.